If you're just joining us, a very warm welcome to the Late Debate. Tonight we want to hear from you on the universal social charge. Is it a tax too far or a bearable burden? If you want to have your voice heard, you can contact us in a number of ways. The text number is 51551. You can email latedebate@rte.ie or you can tweet us at @latedebateRTE. On tonight's programme, we're joined in studio by Jerry Breen, who's running for Fine Gael in Dublin North West. Ruadhán Aodháin is running for Sinn Féin in Dublin South East. On the phone, we're joined by Michael Kennedy, Fianna Fáil candidate in Dublin North. Anya Kerr is also with us, political correspondent with the Irish Independent, and Philip Malloy, a freelance journalist with vast experience, I think it's fair to say, of Irish elections. Now later on, Dr. Adrian Kavanagh will rate our candidates' chances of making it to the finish line intact and elected. First though, since this election campaign began about a week ago, just about every candidate we've met here on Late Debate has said that the new universal social charge is one of the main issues coming up on the doorsteps. Now, the charge has taken substantial chunks of take-home pay, as you will know, out of the earnings of just about everybody making over $4,000 a year. But are any of the potential new government parties prepared to change the tax, and can anyone afford to change it if they're elected? Ruadhán, first of all, the Sinn Féin position is to get rid of the universal social charge. How would you do it?
Yes, that's correct. Our position is that we would reverse the universal social charge in total. Now that would require legislative change and by implementing a new budget. But what we're saying would take its place is a 48% tax band on those individuals who earn in excess of €100,000.
And how much would that bring in as opposed to the universal social charge?
Okay, well the 48% tax band brings in €410 million. Reversing the universal social charge will cost €420 million. So therefore we are replacing one thing with another, and what we're saying is that rather than forcing people on lower incomes and middle income earners to take the hit, we think that people who are wealthier in this country should pay that bit extra.
Meet our obligations under the welfare system.
What about the Sinn Féin proposal on this?
The Sinn Féin proposal is absolutely ludicrous because, Ruadhán has said it'll take in their proposal of 48% tax over 100,000 takes in 400 million. We're talking minimum of 5 billion to actually fund child benefit, to fund job seekers allowance and medical card holders. So where's he going to get the other 4.5 billion?
Well, if I could just say,
the Sinn Féin economic policy, is wired to the moon, Claire, in my view.
Could I just say at this point, I do think it's unfortunate that Fianna Fáil are once again being dismissive of opposition parties, and one of the reasons we are where we are is because of the arrogance of Fianna Fáil over the last 10 years and the fact that they wouldn't engage with any of our positions. Now, as I've said, I mean, the cost of the universal social charge is 420 million, and instead of that, what we're proposing to do is bring in the 48% tax ban. That's what will provide the money, or that's what will fill the gap.
Money currently to pay welfare, that is totally unsustainable. And Fine Gael and Labour, I think, should recognise that and should not be populist as they're trying to be here. It is difficult for people.
Well, in fairness, they're not saying they're going to get rid of it. Sinn Féin are the only ones saying they're going to get rid of it, and neither Labour nor Fine Gael have said.
Sinn Féin know their figures don't add up, Claire. There is no way. I mean, what are they going to replace it with?
That is a misrepresentation, actually. I just have to cut in there. The Department of Finance actually costed our figures, and Michael should know this. So it is actually inaccurate, and it's a fraudulent misrepresentation to claim that Sinn Féin that our figures don't add up. The fact of the matter is that Sinn Féin is the only party for calling for a more sustainable taxation base. I mean, we've got one of the lowest tax bases in Europe, and yet we are trying to fund our public services. There's only 3 other countries in the European Union, Bulgaria, Lithuania and Latvia, that have lower taxation bases. But the fact of the matter is that if we want to continue to have some sort of level of public services in this country, we need to increase our taxation base. But that's true by taxing wealthier people in this country.
Yes, Claire, can I make the point again that child benefit costs $2 billion. Job seekers allowance costs $2.6 billion. Now, that's a total of $4.6 billion, ignoring the medical cards. Now, will Sinn Féin tell me how they're going to increase taxes to such an extent that they will get €5 billion to pay only 3 items out of the welfare account.
Ruadhán.
Well, I can give you 3 examples. Well, one, we want to standardise all tax reliefs. Secondly, as I've already mentioned, it's the 48% tax ban. And thirdly, crucially, it's actually looking at wealth in this country. There is still an extraordinary degree of wealth. And one of the things that we are proposing, and you see this, for example, in France, it is a wealth tax. And we want a 1% wealth tax on assets in excess of €1 million. And that our economists have estimated that could garnish over €1 billion. So it's through taxation proposals such as those that we can continue to fund.
I want to just bring in some listener comments here. The opposition deliberately let the social charge go through because it suited them, says Elizabeth. Pauline Madigan, what beats me is how horrified politicians are with how angry and broke the public are. It goes to show how removed they've been from the harsh reality on the ground. I'll vote for Sinn Féin if they reverse the universal anti-social charge, says this person. The Department of Finance has done the sums and it is possible to reverse it. Killian says, how many economists need to agree with Sinn Féin before people stop insulting the 15% of people who support them? Kevin is 70. He says, you don't have to be working to pay the USC. You certainly don't, Kevin, you're dead right. He says, my work pension has been docked €150 a month. And Walter says, I hope the new government charges all taxpayers on over 100,000 10% universal social charge, and not just the self-employed, which was imposed to placate a certain independent and certain senior public servants. Catherine in Kilkenny, PRSI allows me to claim for nothing. What use is the universal social charge and what benefit am I entitled to? It's just rob the workers. It's of no benefit really, is it, the universal social charge?
Well, I mean, that's at personal level what the IMF bailout is at a macro level.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even businesses are I've visited a number of shops and traders in Rathmines, and they're raising this as well because they can see, that their shoppers no longer have the money to spend anymore, and this is going to lead to business closures. So this is why we really do have to engage in this.
There's a couple of other issues.
But I don't think emigration is as big a problem, should I say, as it was in the past, because
1,000 people a week are leaving.
1,000 people a week. Yeah, I suppose, having experienced unemployment myself, I would see that doing something is better than doing nothing.
Aodháin from Sinn Féin, you're of a generation, the generation that are leaving.
That's right. A lot of my friends actually from university, they just weren't able to get jobs in Ireland, so they've left. They've gone to England, to Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. And I, as far as I can see, they're going to be there for a while, possibly a long time, because they're of the view, that they can't have any kind of careers in Ireland.
Well, that's the concern, isn't it? That people will go and they just won't come back because they'll settle somewhere else, and so we lose that generation.
That's right. Well, if things keep on going the way they're going, certainly they're going to stay where they are. But if we can get the economy moving again, if we can breathe some life into the economy, we can bring these people back. I mean, we saw in the 1990s a huge number of Irish people actually returned, from Germany and from America, and that could happen again. But it's really about reviving the economy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we.
I would have to say I do agree. I think it is deeper than just the unemployment issue. I mean, there are people who actually have jobs who are deciding to leave the country and go for a slightly better life or a better quality of life in Australia. There's a number of factors. It's their income, it's their ability to spend. It's greatly reduced now in this country. It's also our public services as well. I mean, we do have a lousy healthcare system in Ireland, and it's getting progressively worse because of the privatisation agenda of Fianna Fáil that was carried out by Mary Harney. And people are looking at other countries where they have better services and a better quality of life, and they're deciding to go over to those countries.
Okay.